Hello everyone, I am Sai and welcome back to my channel Sai Tech. In today's video to compare the Dimensity 1200 chipset versus a Snapdragon 860 processor. So right now I do have the both phones which are the Dimensity 1200 and the Snapdragon 860 processor, and this is a question which was requested by a couple of subscribers as well. So which is best for the normal usage and medium gaming and heavy gaming? So these are the three different topics which I thought of just covering in this one video, so which might be useful for a lot of other users actually. So this can be also applicable for the other Dimensity 1200 mobile phones as well, little bit, yes. So first let's start with the price range. The price of the POCO X8 Pro, which is the cheapest Snapdragon 860 processor, is available for about 17,999. So if you don't use any kind of discount cards. So Dimensity 1200, this phone is available for about 24,999 right now in the Flipkart Big Savings Day. So without using any kind of banks. So overall, these are the price difference between both processors, which I thought of just letting you know before starting the video. So overall, there's a difference of close to 7,000 rupees difference is there. So for the 7,000 rupees, is it worth of buying the Realme X1 Max? For the normal usage, I would not say that will be a good, because the POCO X3 Pro is also really great for the normal usage. Yes, absolutely. For the normal day-to-day task, you won't feel much difference between both phones at all. That's another thing you should definitely know. Next, for the medium. So for the medium also, I think both phones are slightly close to each other only, friends, in terms of the medium usage. In my experience, that is what I did learn with these both phones in my medium kind of experience. And next, heavy gaming. So when it comes to the heavy gaming, the Dimensity 1200 is slightly advantage, I would say. I'll try to show you a couple of things as well, like benchmarks and screenshots and everything, throttling, how it is happening in this phone. So first, let's talk about the benchmarks. So in terms of the another benchmark score, both phones, they do have the very high benchmarks. So when it comes to the POCO X3 Pro, it has got 5,66,000, and the Realme X1 Max, which has got 6,75,000, as you can see, friends, 6,75,000. So overall, there's a difference of 1 lakh another benchmark difference is there between both processors. That's the one thing you should definitely remember. And next is also not only that, I'll try to show you the throttling results. Let me try to show you the CPU throttling, how it is. So the Snapdragon 860 is not that great in terms of the throttling. As you can see, friends, it's absolutely a disaster. So it's not trying to maintain regarding the throttling. So let me just show you the screenshots which are taken in the Realme X1 Max. In the Realme X1 Max is also not bad, but still the performance scores are slightly higher. As you can see, obviously for the performance, you can see the slightly higher scores. So sometimes the Realme X1 Max behaves properly, sometimes the Realme X1 Max doesn't behave. So 73% throttle, as you can see. I did take a couple of screenshots as well. So this time it only 91% of the maximum throttle, as you can see. So in terms of the throttling, I did see the Realme X1 Max with the Dimensity 1200 is slightly better when you compare with the Snapdragon 860 chipset. Yes, absolutely. Let me show you the another screenshot. So the another screenshot which I have taken, as you can see, friends, how it is in terms of the throttling. So this is the same graph, exactly what has happened before. Let me just show you the before and now. As you can see, it immediately decreased. After some time, the throttling completely decreased. As you can see, this is a difference you can actually expect between both phones. So in terms of the performance wise, in the benchmarks and CPU throttling, the Realme X1 Max, the Dimensity 1200 processor, that is what I meant, it's slightly better than the Snapdragon 860 chipset. Now it comes to the gaming. So when it comes to the gaming, right now the Battlegrounds mobile gameplay, Snapdragon 860 phone did not get the 90 FPS. No, this phone did not get the 90 FPS. You need to use any other custom ROMs or maybe config file or GFX tool to get this kind of 90 FPS support. Right now, I'm trying to use the latest MIUI 12.5 version only, as you can see. But still, I did not get the 90 FPS. I need to use the config file. But in the Dimensity 1200, there is a scope that, because the Realme X1 Max has got the 90 FPS support in the Battlegrounds mobile, so definitely the other Dimensity processors with the same 1200 can also get the same kind of 90 FPS. That is what my expectations are in this kind of processors. I think definitely the OnePlus Nord 2, POCO X8 GT, those two phones also will get the 90 FPS support in this phone. That should not be any kind of issues. And overall, regarding the temperature, which processor will get heat, Dimensity 1200 or the Snapdragon 860? So in the temperatures, the Dimensity 1200 will get slightly heat. Yes, this processor will generate slightly heat more than the Snapdragon 860, because that results in the performance as well. You are getting better performance, and not only that, you are getting the 5G chipset with this Dimensity 1200. That's really great to see in this kind of processor. As you can see, with the Snapdragon 860, you don't get that kind of 5G as well. That is another disadvantage which we can actually find out. There are few games like the Call of Duty you can actually play with the very high settings and the maximum FPS in the POCO X3 Pro with the Snapdragon 860 processor, as you can see, friends. Let me just show you the Dimensity 1200. What are the maximum settings? So only in the Battlegrounds mobile game got optimized for the Dimensity 1200. In still the Call of Duty, you cannot play with the very high-end maximum FPS. You cannot do that. As you can see, friends, unfortunately, you can see here, you're not allowed to do in the Dimensity 1200 in the Realme X1 Max. So these are the results. So overall in the Battlegrounds mobile gameplay, if you are kind of a Battlegrounds mobile gameplay person, then definitely you'll be really happy to see in the Dimensity 1200 getting 90 FPS. But for some other games, I do feel the Snapdragon 860 is slightly optimized in terms of the in better graphics and performance. That's the one thing you should definitely remember. So overall in terms of the high performance and heavy gaming, I'll definitely recommend the Dimensity 1200. But if there is a budget shortage, you can ultimately go for even this phone, the Snapdragon 860. Even by using the config file, by using 90 FPS, I was able to get the stable 90 FPS only throughout the time. Nothing much, there's not much big issues in this phone. As I said, even I did do the live streaming using this POCO X3 Pro. Yes, live streaming using 90 FPS directly. FPS drop test. As you can see friends, using this phone, it was really great playing this POCO X3 Pro with a 90 FPS, absolutely. So overall in terms of the performance wise, for the normal day-to-day task, you would not feel much difference between both phones. In terms of just normal opening speed test or anything, you would not feel that much kind of difference between both phones. So yes, having the Dimensity 1200 is slightly advantage, but only Battlegrounds mobile got optimized, not other games got optimized. That's another thing you should definitely remember. So that's it friends, thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to let me know in the comment section below what are your thoughts, and in case if you have any other queries regarding this both devices, let me know in the comment section below. And just before this video, I did upload a video on the comparing the Dimensity 1200 versus the Snapdragon 865, as you can see. So after uploading this video, a lot of users there did ask me, can you please make a video on the Snapdragon 860 as well, because they want to know which is better. So overall, I can say that the MediaTek Dimensity 1200, it exactly fits in the middle of Snapdragon 860 and Snapdragon 865. Exactly, it comes in the middle in terms of the performance and everything. That is what my final conclusion would be there regarding the MediaTek Dimensity 1200. So nowadays we will definitely see the optimizing gonna happen very faster than before, because a lot of users, they are giving the feedback for the Dimensity and whatever the phones they are using. For example, Realme X1 Max, before we did not get the 90 FPS update, but after a lot of feedback and a lot of reviews, finally they decided to give the 90 FPS. And it also depends from the smartphone manufacturer, and they got tie up with the game developers, so only then it will be possible to give the 90 FPS. Hopefully the OnePlus and the POCO, they will do it. So that's also another thing. For the Snapdragon processor, you should not be worried that much. Yes, you should not be worried at all. So you'll definitely get the 90 FPS, maybe not now, maybe after some time you may get the 90 FPS. So these are the quick comparison friends. At this moment, Battlegrounds mobile gameplay have the advantages in this Dimensity 1200 90 FPS, and Call of Duty have the advantages in the Snapdragon 860 processor. So thank you for watching this video friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Until stay tuned for more updates. In case if you have any other doubts, let me know in the comment section below. See you in the next video friends. Until then, bye.